November 1849. An overseer is found dead in a tobacco barn outside Natchez, Mississippi. His hands were bound behind his back. You cannot hang yourself with your hands tied. The sheriff ruled it a suicide anyway, because no one wanted to look closer. Stories like this repeat for 3 decades, across 5 states, and in the oral histories of the enslaved, never written down, only whispered, one name keeps surfacing. They called him Moses. For 150 years, historians have argued about whether he was real. Today, we're not telling you his story as settled fact. We're investigating the legend and asking why no one has ever been able to prove it or disprove it. No speech provided. Here's the legend as it's usually told. An enslaved man sold again and again across plantations, and at every stop within weeks, a cluster of accidental deaths follows him. Overseers, slave catchers, plantation owners. I want to be straight with you here, because most videos about this topic aren't. This version, specific names, an exact death toll, a private investigator's 47-page report. That's not something I could verify against a real archival record. It circulates mostly through retellings, not a single confirmed primary source. So we're not going to state those specifics as fact. What is real? Historians have documented enslaved people using arson, poisoning, sabotage, and organized resistance networks throughout the antebellum South. Real trial records exist of enslaved cooks accused of poisoning enslavers. This is the legitimate historical ground the legend grows out of, even if the specific Natchez Moses story can't be pinned to one verified account. Walk through 3 to 4 concrete, real documented resistance methods with brief examples, explicitly citing them as historically attested: arson, poisoning, sabotage, escape networks. Explain why organized resistance would be nearly impossible to prove or disprove. At the time, poor cross-state record-keeping. Sheriffs incentivized to rule deaths as accidents rather than admit organized resistance existed. Oral history did something written record never could. It protected the living by keeping details deliberately unclear, which means the very thing that makes this story hard to verify today is the same thing that may have kept people alive then. Discuss the real tension. Historians wanting rigorous sourcing versus public hunger for named resistance heroes. Since so much mainstream history centers enslaved people as passive victims rather than active resistors, you can honor the resistance that absolutely happened, the poisonings, the sabotage, the escapes, without asserting invented specifics about one man as settled fact. Those are different things, and conflating them is how good history turns into misinformation. So go back to that barn. Bound hands. A death nobody investigated. We don't know if this was one man, a dozen men, or a story stitched together over 150 years of retelling. And that uncertainty isn't a failure of the story. It might be the whole point. Maybe there was one man. Maybe there were hundreds of smaller, real acts of resistance folded into a single legend. Either way, the fear was real, the resistance was real, and that part of the story doesn't need a name to be true. What do you think? One man, a composite, or myth? Tell me in the comments. And check the description. I've marked exactly which parts of this video are documented and which are legend, because you deserve to know the difference.